President Tinubu launches emblem appeal of 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. Senate approves refunds to Kebbi and Nasarawa states for projects constructed by both states. Minister of Interior promises to reform all agencies under the ministry.
Even if after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, by the grace of God, the correctional service will have been put on the right track.
Hello and welcome to the news desk at 6 on Nta News24. We are reaching you live from Abuja. I am Olajide Bello. President Bola Tinubu has commended members of the armed forces for the progressive success being recorded in the fight against insecurity in parts of the country. It was as he launched the 2024 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration emblem appeal at the State House.
No matter what economic theory we propagate or postulate, if we have no security, you cannot promote peace and development. I'm grateful to all of you on behalf of the country. To you all, we have to continue to strive to eliminate conflict in our country, to eliminate terrorism, banditry, and make priority the stability of this country.
The emblem we will unveil today symbolizes our commitment to honor the fallen heroes and support those who continue to serve. I want to therefore highlight that their sacrifice and untiring efforts at keeping Nigeria safe are perfectly aligned with President's promise to conquer all forms of insecurity in Nigeria. We therefore come together annually to reflect on the sacrifices of our armed forces to our nation and express our unwavering gratitude.
The Senate has approved the reimbursement of 15.1 billion naira through promissory notes to Kebbi State Government. Also approved, as requested by President Tinubu, is the reimbursement of 9.5 billion naira to Nasarawa State Government. The reimbursements are for projects constructed by the two states. The projects are the Sir Ahmadu Bello International Airport in Breeden Kebbi and the Cargo Airport in Lafia. Meanwhile, the special advisor to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senate Bashir Ladu, has in a statement said the screening of ministerial nominees earlier scheduled for today has been postponed to Wednesday this week. The chairman of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, is insisting that his refinery is currently with 420,000 barrels per day refining capacity, is ready to satisfy the local demand of petroleum products, particularly petrol. The Nigerian captain of industry was fielding questions from State House correspondents on the development in the oil and gas sector. After the commissioning of the largest refinery in Africa, there have been issues delaying disbursement of products from the refinery. However, Dangote appeals to local marketers to come forward and patronize his refinery as a way to solve scarcity of petrol in parts of the country.
We are producers. I have a refinery. I'm not in the business of retail. If I'm in the business of retail, then you hold me responsible. But what I'm saying is that the retailers should please come forward and pick If they don't come forward and pick, what do you want me to do? There's nothing that I can do. So I am expecting either NNPC or the marketers to stop importing. They should come and collect. We have what they need. And, as they remove, I'll be pumping. I don't know whether you understand what it takes to keep 500 million liters inside our tank. It's costing me money. Every day, if I will be able to collect the naira, I can actually charge somebody 32% in interest. So right now, that's what I'm losing. And you are talking about 500 billion. We don't print money. But the issue is that if they come and collect, then you will not see any queues in the filling stations. We have what it takes for them to come and collect. We are not retailers. We also don't have trucks to send. We have a factory where we can load. If they come and pick, they will go and distribute. And they've been doing that with importation. So if they have been doing that with importation, if it's true they are doing 55 million, I see no reason why they won't come and collect our own and distribute.
As Nigerians acknowledge the impact of innovative passport automation system introduced to Nigeria Immigration Service, Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji says the reforms will be extended to other agencies in the ministry. Discussing reforms in the Interior Ministry on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, the minister disclosed that correctional and fire services in the country will be reformed. Ekemini Williams has the details.
Correctional centers across the country have struggled over time with overcrowded facilities. The current Fire and Rescue Act has also made it challenging for the fire service to step into the 21st century. For each of these problems confronting the nation, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji, says he has an antidote.
We want to be able to solve the correctional issues once and for all, so that it's not about building strong individuals, it's about building strong institutions, so that even if tomorrow I'm not here in Interior, even if after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, by the grace of God, the correctional service will have been put on the right track, of performance. So that's part of what we're doing.
Other guests on the program, including the Executive Director, Prisoners Rehabilitation and Welfare Action, Dr. Ugu Agomo, appealed for implementation of Section 28 of the Nigerian Correctional Service Act.
A lot of the burden that you have within the custodial center also has to do with the population too. So being able to understand that when you are locking persons more than what the designated capacity of that facility is, it becomes challenge. There is a challenge in terms of the infrastructure in those places. There is challenge in terms of the time that you can give due attention to proper treatment and processing of the inmates within those correctional centers.
Any system, no matter what kind of system it is, if you do not understand it, if you don't know what it's all about, it's usually, it's obvious that there'll be resistance or there'll be confusion. So that's what we've tried to understand and explain. We've done a lot of engagement with our officers, we've done a lot of sensitization, we've done a lot of training.
The minister also said there are plans to establish a fire service academy in Nigeria and noted the need to repeal and enact a new fire service act. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, Nta News.
Let's inform you that it's official. The ink is dry and the stakes are set. Ahead of agencies under the Ministry of Interior have signed a performance contract pledging to elevate their service. For them, it's a pact they can't afford to break. And for the minister, it is a tool to ensure accountability from top down. Victor Azu reports.
With each signature, the commitment grows stronger. For the Ministry of Interior, today isn't just about documents and ink. It's a pledge to deliver.
So we are trusting our heads of agencies to go back to be able to implement these deliverables and ensure that in the next 1 year, you understand, the Ministry of Interior will be able to be right up their way or to be in terms of performance.
Each agency head knows what this means. Enhanced performance, higher standards, and no room for failure.
It's a job we've been given and we must do it. There's no room for failure. The President has said it, that this is what he expects of the minister, and the minister has just stepped it down to us, and we'll go back to our various agencies and do the same, step it down to our other officers as well.
The retreat is for us to ensure that we deliver as at when due, and we promise to deliver. By this, we now take it down to our agencies and make sure that whatever we are doing, we do it in line with the ministry and our minister as well.
And with this agreement in place, the Ministry of Interior enters a new chapter. As each leader stands behind their promise, the people will be watching to see results unfold. In Abuja, Victor Azu, Nta News.
ECOWAS Commission of Small Arms are meeting in Nigeria to develop a common template to combat improvised explosive devices related threats. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that IED is a major challenge to counter terrorism in most African countries.
Threats related to the proliferation of small and light weapons, the use of improvised explosive devices IED by terrorists expanded between 2014 and 2022 in West Africa, with Cameroon, Mali, Niger, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire and Nigeria bearing the brunt. The Small Arms Survey of 2022 indicates more than 2,200 IED-related incidents between March 2014 and September 2022, with 6,600 casualties in the sub-region. This weapon that has transcended borders tends to slow the ongoing fight against terrorism. This ECOWAS coordination meeting of National Commissions of Small Arms, holding in Nigeria, is focused on countering improvised explosive devices, promoting administration and management of small arms and light weapons, and regulating craft weapons production in ECOWAS region.
We are in danger as nations, we are in danger as citizens, we are in danger as states. So we should go beyond the usual bureaucracy and obstacle to cooperation and do our best and provide to our citizens the peaceful environment that they need.
With the signing of the Small Arms Commission Bill by President Bola Tinubu in June 2024 and the recent mass destruction of illicit arms, Nigeria is fully promoting the goals of the regional body.
The challenge of small arms proliferation and IED threats transcend our individual borders and therefore demand a robust and unified response. Nigeria, as a member of ECOWAS, is deeply committed to countering the threat posed by the illegal circulation of small arms and light weapons within and around our borders and throughout the region.
Easy access to materials used for the production of IED is a major challenge.
The problem is we cannot control the fact that the IEDs, you can take many things to have it. Like fertilizer, we cannot say no fertilizer will coming in our country. The bleach water is using now to do IED.
The challenges of proliferation of small and light weapons and that of improvised explosive devices transcend borders. So, resolution of this platform is for a collective action to combat the threat, to enhance safer community and a more secured region. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, Nta News.
The Nigerian Air Force has eliminated scores of Boko Haram terrorists at 2 key locations in Bulamarwa, Benue State. A statement by Director of Public Relations and Information Air Commodore Lushola Kimboyo says intelligence identified Bulamarwa as a high-level meeting site for Boko Haram's notorious figures. Intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions, consequently, now fighter jets were dispatched to the location for an interdiction mission. The first airstrike was executed effectively, engaging the target area, while moments later ISR aircraft loitering in the vicinity observed several terrorists returning to assess the damage and evacuate their wounded combatants. In response, NAF air assets conducted follow-up strikes, neutralizing additional terrorists. Building on the success of the initial mission, additional ISR was conducted in the area the same day, identifying another group of terrorists gathering under a large tree at the second meeting site. And upon verification, NAF air assets launched a precision airstrike at the location, achieving a direct hit and neutralizing numerous terrorists. The statement says the air operation struck a significant blow to planned terrorist activities, taking out multiple fighters and demolishing the motorcycles, thereby crippling their ability to launch ambush or other hostile actions. This is the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. More reports after this break. Do stay with us.
From the creeks of the Niger Delta to the breathtaking scenery of the plateau, in noonday and nighttime, we set out to bring to you captivating stories that evoke your emotions. For fascinating documentaries and reports on day-to-day issues with expert analysis, tune in to Nta News24, DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 26, StarTimes channel 101 and 433, and Free TV channel 703.
Thanks for being there. Financial Intelligence Units (FIUs) across Africa are in Abuja for a workshop to rub minds on how to deal with transactions that are deemed to be suspicious while building capacities to disrupt illicit financial flows connected to serious crimes across the continent. Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Financial Intelligence Units (NFIU), Hafsat Bakari says reducing the ability of fraudsters and other criminals to use their illicit proceeds reduces the incentives to engage in the crimes. Tokwe Alabi reports.
The amount laundered annually is estimated between 2 and 5% of global GDP, which is about 715 billion and 1.87 trillion euros. Similar to money laundering, there are generally 3 stages in terrorism financing: raising, moving, and using funds. This workshop is considering the ethical and moral limitations to the use of stop orders, and for financial intelligence units across Africa to be wary of the risk that legitimate transactions, funds, and assets may subject the powers to.
Without effective controls, these powers could be subject to abuses, as we have seen in so many instances. This is where at the NFIU we have established clear protocols and procedures for the use of stop orders. There must be a clearly demonstrated high level of risk that the funds are likely to be dissipated.
We are grateful for Nigeria for doing that. It's still a lot of work to do, so we are sharing also best practices today to inform the FUs in the room how they can improve their system.
Because of the way technology has changed the financial industry, these funds move very quickly from different accounts, even to different jurisdictions. So these suspension powers are really about enabling FIUs to identify those suspicious transactions and to stop the transactions from moving from bank to bank.
From different countries, where we see how maybe Nigeria or Ethiopia or Senegal deal with the matter, and how can we put all our effort together.
Conversations at this forum seek to position and promote FIUs within their national and international systems while introducing new and innovative tools for FIU operations and development. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, Nta News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission says it is ready for the November 16, 2024 governorship election in Ondo State. The Commission made the promise at a Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room dialogue session with Ondo State Resident Electoral Commissioner INEC and the police ahead of the governorship election. Timothy Yusuf reports.
We have identified 329 polling units that have flashpoints in the state.
This dialogue session held in Abuja provides an opportunity for civil society groups preparing to observe the upcoming governorship election in Ondo State to interact with the resident electoral commissioner and the police towards addressing some of the issues that may arise during the November 16 election. It also aims at enabling stakeholders to deliberate on the political environment in the state and agree on strategies to engage the process and promote a peaceful and credible governorship election.
We hope that some of the weaknesses and lapses and perhaps even the commission that we saw in Edo State, for instance, will not repeat in the Ondo State.
I wish to state that INEC Ondo State is fully geared up for the conduct of the 2024 Ondo State governorship election, scheduled to hold on 16th November 2024. And to ensure a seamless and successful electoral process, we have implemented proactive measures, including working ahead of timelines, applying lessons learned from previous elections.
The dialogue session between Situation Room, INEC and other critical partners is supported by the United Kingdom Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. Timothy Yusuf, Nta News.
The Center for Transparency Advocacy has unveiled a Strengthening Accountability and Governance in Nigeria initiative project focusing on ministries, agencies and departments at the federal level. The Federal Capital Territory, Anambra and Edo states. The goals align with the objectives of the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program, particularly in promoting the effective use of the Freedom of Information Act 2011. Executive Director of the Center emphasized that the initiative aims to empower citizens, civil society organizations, youth and women groups, others or persons with disabilities, the media and legal practitioners to demand accountability at all levels of governance.
Some progress has been made. However, significant barriers remain. The Act has a concerning number of exemptions, making it a challenge for average citizens to access government information.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says he will continue to prioritize the welfare of civil servants towards complementing efforts of the federal government in cushioning the effect of the present economic realities. He gave the indication in Port Harcourt at the 2024 meeting of the Separate and Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council, where he was represented by the State Head of Civil Service. Osinachi Samuel has details.
The 2024 meeting of the Separate and Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council, organized by the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, has as its theme building trust for sustained peaceful labor relations. Governor Siminalayi Fubara, who was represented by the State Head of Civil Service, Judge Nweke, notes that his administration is interested in the welfare of civil servants, hence the various packages put in place by the state government, including the recent approval of 85,000 naira new minimum wage. He noted the efforts of the federal government towards ameliorating the plight of Nigerian workers, stressing that it will go a long way in boosting government and labor union relations.
I want to assure you that whatever decisions will be reached here, my governor, one of the first few to implement those decisions. I'm going to announce to you that Rivers State government will commence the payment of the new minimum wage, but with a premium on top. We are paying 85,000 naira. And the governor has already directed, and we are not taking it, we are not resting on it, that should be implemented by this November. Because by the time we got our papers right, October had already elapsed. And that is what a good labor relationship means to help.
Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Didi Wasinjak, represented by the Director overseeing the Office of the Permanent Secretary and Chairman of the Council, Comfort Adeoshun, said the meeting, which is an annual program, is aimed at building and sustaining industrial peace and harmony in the public service. She appreciated Governor Fubara for ensuring a workers-friendly environment in Rivers State.
Without mutual peace between all of us, the country may not be in a very, very stable environment. And you all know that environment matters in achieving both policy implementation and also entrenching good dividends to the citizens of the country.
The three-day program is expected to further strengthen industrial harmony between critical stakeholders. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
The Climate and Sustainable Development Network has launched a Keep Your Promise advocacy campaign in flood-affected areas of Ganaja, Lokoja, Kogi State. The campaign calls on world leaders to take climate action ahead of COP29, focusing on efforts to support communities impacted by climate change. A John Ata's report is here presented.
What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now.
The Climate and Sustainable Development Network is a coalition of over 300 organizations working to promote equitable and sustainable development across Nigeria. The campaign is an initiative aimed at raising awareness and urging accountability for global climate commitments, particularly as COP29 approaches. CS DevNet's National Network Coordinator, Stephen Abu, said the Keep Your Promise campaign was launched to address the urgent need for climate justice by holding global leaders accountable for their climate pledges. He noted that Africa contributes the least to global emissions but bears a disproportionate impact from climate-related challenges.
Every year, what people in this community hear is a feedback from negotiation and the promises of hundreds of billions of dollars. Yet, they cannot trace a dime as the impact of this action in their communities.
Some flood victims in the Ganaja community are calling for urgent assistance as living conditions are becoming increasingly challenging.
I'm selling blocks. I have block industry, this place. Yeah, so every year water used to pack us here and it will just pack us with nothing. We will not see anything, any help. For more than 1 month now, I'm at home waiting for the water to go back so that I can come back.
I think some of my neighbors are inside. Because of the water, they couldn't come out. Because it's not easy for everyone to be entering the water all the time.
Kogi State's Commissioner for Environmental and Ecological Management, Joseph Oluwasegun, highlighted state government efforts to address the flooding and called for a lasting solution to this persistent problem.
And you agree with me that Kogi State in particular, we have a lot of climate problems. And most importantly, the issue of flooding. Kogi State is a flood-prone state that require a lot of funding.
The event provides a platform for vulnerable communities to voice their concerns and advocate for the fulfillment of climate finance promises.
And that concludes the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Olajide Bello.